Good morning, and welcome to the press conference to update you on the efforts to save the Lady Vols brand for all women's teams at the University of Tennessee. Before we begin, we are at Calhouns on the River, and I would like to thank Calhouns owner Mike Chase for his generous donation of this space and also for being such a great fan of the Lady Vols. I am Mollie DeLozier, a former swimmer for and a graduate of the University of Tennessee. The other people you see in the room wearing Save Lady Vols shirts are also active in the fight and are helping out today with the logistics of this event. All of us are a very small part of a very large, diverse group of people who believe that University of Tennessee Athletic Director Dave Hart's decision last fall to discontinue the Lady Vols brand for all women's teams except basketball is unwarranted and totally unnecessary. The decision to merge the men's and women's athletic departments was made years before the arrival of Athletic Director Hart. He inherited that decision, and when he arrived in September 2011, several areas had already been merged. At that point, there didn't appear to be any major problems. That changed when Mr. Hart merged personnel. In 2012, within his first year, he terminated or forced out a disproportionate number of key personnel from the women's department, resulting in 4 people filing sex discrimination lawsuits. One has been settled and the others are pending. This dismantling of the women's staff in 2012 sparked a very real concern that the Lady Vols logo would no longer be used to represent the women athletes. A concerned fan wrote to the athletic department and received an email from Senior Associate Athletic Director Donna Thomas that there were no plans to do anything with the logo, even though, according to Dave Hart, in October 2014, there was a branding study going on at the time of Ms. Thomas's response. In November 2014, Dave Hart announced that the Lady Vols brand would only apply to basketball out of respect for Coach Pat Summitt. He claimed the women athletes wanted the change. As soon as Mr. Hart made the announcement, former Lady Vols immediately went public in opposition. They started an online petition, wrote letters to their newspapers, and started a website that became a place for former and current Lady Vols to write letters about the decision. Several former Vol football players also weighed in on the side of keeping the logo. Fans, donors, and Tennessee state legislators quickly joined them in protest. Hundreds, if not thousands, have written letters to Athletic Director Hart, Chancellor Jimmy Cheek, UT President DiPietro, and the UT Board of Trustees. For months, UT did not respond. Finally, 6 months later, a mass mailing of form letters and emails were sent from Dr. DiPietro and from Chancellor Cheek. It took UT 6 months to respond to fans and alumni protesting this decision. 6 months to respond to the people who donate to the university and attend games. 6 months to extend the courtesy of a reply. The athletic department didn't even do that. Today, we have several speakers lined up to quickly address different aspects of this issue. Our first speaker today is uniquely qualified to speak to the issues we are addressing. She is not only a significant Lady Vols donor, having endowed the Lady Vols locker room at Pratt Pavilion at Coach Pat Summitt's request in 2010, she also endows a Lady Vols athletic volleyball scholarship. However, Dr. Sharon Lord's most significant contribution to Lady Vols athletics was in 1971, before Title IX was signed into law in 1972. As a young professor at UT, she persuaded newly appointed Chancellor Archie Dykes to appoint a campus-wide Chancellor's Task Force on Women, and then a permanent commission for women dedicated to achieving sex equity at UT. Dr. Lord chaired the Committee on Women in Sports, which led to the first funding dedicated to women's intercollegiate athletics, and eventually the creation of the Lady Vols athletics program. So when Pat Head walked on campus in the fall of 1974, she had a small travel budget, and Sharon Lord had a lifelong colleague. You can view Coach Pat Summit and Dr. Lord on YouTube discussing the legacy of the Lady Vol program. After leaving UT, Dr. Lord served as the Chief of Equal Opportunity in the largest government agency in the U.S., the Department of Defense. As President Reagan's Undersecretary of Defense, she held the equivalent rank of a 3-star general. She created the first defense-wide sexual harassment policy and opened doors for military and civilian women, for which she is highly acclaimed. Dr. Lord's advice and consulting with education, business, and government leaders is in demand around the world. The director of the Australian Institute of Management describes her as a world champion of equal opportunity for women. Yet her work in empowerment of all human beings extends beyond that of women. She is devoted to helping all individuals be all that they can imagine and even more. She willingly serves as a mentor, a role model, and inspiration. And so I'm proud to have Dr. Lord with us today speaking to you.